Happy Monday to you. How are we doing today, Mr. Brent, Mr. Pierce?
Doing awesome.
Let's get ready to rock and roll. We are live right now. Everybody, we want to welcome you, if you're watching this on our YouTube channels, to another commercial real estate tactical broker training brought to you by eXpmastery.com. eXpmastery.com. Learn how to level up your real estate brokerage business in a way that helps you to produce cash flow and advanced ways to help your clients more sell, defer tax, how to market, digital marketing, negotiation, underwriting, all of the things that you need to be a successful broker or an agent. We want to help you become, improve your craft, become a master at your craft. And so eXp Mastery is all about that. Go to eXpmastery.com. For those who don't know me, my name is Brett Swarts, and I am the founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions. I'm also a multifamily broker with eXp Commercial, and also kind of the founder of eXpmastery.com as well. We are welcomed by a few of my eXp family team members who are experts in their own right. Mr. Brent Silverbauer, multifamily in Northern California, digital marketing expert and real estate broker. Amazing. Brent, how are we doing today?
Doing awesome. Glad to be here.
Excellent. We're also welcomed by Pierce York. He is an amazing, excellent agent down in the Newport Beach area, luxury real estate, as well as commercial real estate. He's also knows the Deferred Sales Trust just about better than any agent in the country at this point. Now he's been training and I've been coaching him for years now, but he's also co-host of the podcast. Pierce York, how are we doing?
I'm doing awesome. Excellent.
Excellent. So eXp Mastery, what we're all about here for this particular commercial real estate tactical broker training is just sharing some secrets and sharing some fundamentals of the business. And so in today's, actually we're regrouping here. We've had about 6 or 7 episodes. We took a little break here and now we're regrouping. I'm going to test some of the knowledge for Brent and Pierce, and then we're going to see where they're at. Based upon that, we'll determine where we're going with today's talk. So Brent Silverbauer, what is the purpose of a cold call?
Purpose of the cold call is to generate interest to get to the meeting. It's not to be their best friend, explain the whole market, answer all their questions, and all that other stuff.
In other words, it's not to have the meeting; it's to gain the meeting or to get commitment to meet with you, right?
Correct.
And what is meeting looking like? What's a meeting? Define that.
In person primarily. However, if you're on the West Coast and they're on the East Coast, or if you're 10 hours away, it might be very difficult. However, it might be worth it to get on a plane to fly down and meet with them in person. If you can't meet with them in person, if that's impractical, then a Zoom is the next best thing, but you definitely want to get that in-person meeting if you can.
Yeah, because if someone's just at the gym or just taking a call or just driving, they might just want to just talk and talk and talk and extract and extract and extract. Nothing wrong with that. They want to be your friend and you want to probably be their friend too. But are we in the business of being friends or really helping people make, commitments to make change?
Yeah, you're in the business to get commitment, to make change, and to be the preferred agent to sell exclusively list the property.
Right. We're going to be Navy SEALs versus baby SEALs. We're going to go pro. We're going to be professionals, right? Versus just being friendly and friends. Kind of like the friend zone. You don't get stuck in the friend zone, right? You all had the friends who got stuck in the friend zone. We really want to be professionals. We want to show them that we care about where they're at, but we also care about getting to the next call so we can set that next meeting so we can make opportunities to solve problems and get transformation for people. So the purpose of a cold call is to get the meeting. Now, on this cold call, you might use the thing called an interest generator. Brent, what would be like an interest generator?
Interest generator would be an important piece of information that would spark their interest. For instance, things that are going on in that city, a major employer that's leaving, how it's going to affect housing, what's going on with the economy in certain ways, things that they don't know that would be of importance to them.
Exactly. It's something that's going to kind of maybe stop where they're thinking, get their curiosity part of their brain moving a little bit, and something that they're going to want to get more information on, but something that's timely, that's specific, that has some kind of action they can actually take. And ideally it's local to their actual market or their street or their deal, or, something that has to do with, if you're selling multifamily with rents, something to do with sales comps, Something that you would want to know if you own property in that area, right?
Mhm.
And so you're going to have hopefully a good interest generator. You're going to be calling them specifically for the idea of the target of getting the meeting. And then number two, you're going to ask maybe a question, open-ended question, or something that's going to spur an opportunity for you to talk with them. But before you could ask the question, but you might even follow that up with something to open them up even more. And what are those maybe 3 phrases that help them open up more without having to be so intense with questions?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Sounds like, feels like, seems like.
Yeah. It sounds like, it seems like, it feels like, which is what is known as
Labeling.
labeling. And what are you specifically labeling?
Their emotions.
Exactly. Sounds like, it seems like, it feels like you're concerned about the interest generator being that rents are declining because the student population for student housing in Chico is declining, right? And it's declining at a pretty rapid pace here. And then you use what's called dynamic silence. You see, I was just quiet there for at least 2 seconds, and you guys started to feel that maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wait 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, and they're going to say, "That's right. That's right. That's exactly what I'm seeing and feeling and sensing." Now, you might even follow up with a mirror. Pierce, what is a mirror?
A mirror?
We know what you're doing, but go ahead and explain to the people out there that are serious.
A mirror is when you repeat the last 3 or critical words that someone just said in order to extract more information out of them.
Well, extract could be it could be like an intimidating word, more so to invite them to share more about what they might mean by that.
Mean by that?
Yeah. And they might not know what they mean by that until they have a chance to breathe, like mentally, right? Like, yeah, you're right. I am concerned about that. You say, concerned about that? They said, yeah, I mean, my interest rate's set to adjust. And if my rents go down, that's concerning. And you might say, your interest rate is set to adjust. These are some key facts, some key things that are pulling out some emotions, some concerns. Really, you're trying to find out if there's a problem. Is there a problem that's worth exploring in an in-person meeting? Or another way to put it, you always want to get the meeting no matter what, but is there significant reason to convert what they're saying for a reason to meet? Because sometimes if you don't have a good solid interest generator or a good problem or a good ambition, by the way, are people more likely, Brent, to make changes based upon problems or desires?
Mainly problems. Fear, unfortunately, is a powerful motivator. The risk of even not having an opportunity, phrasing things like that, you could be missing out on this. FOMO is powerful.
Excellent. Right. So we want to try to identify some of those fears, some of those challenges, some of those problems, some of those concerns, but we want to quickly not overcome those with solutions. We want to convert that for the reason to meet.
Yes.
So it sounds like, it feels like, it seems like you have some concerns about your interest rate adjusting and rents, going down. That's right. That's a perfect reason for us to meet. In fact, I just finished a rent survey. And on top of that, I just did a few proposals for a few clients regarding the exact thing of adjustable rate mortgages. It's a great reason for us to sit down and strategize what this might look like for you. I have all the wisdom in my mind and I have the proposals I can show to you. It's a great time for us to sit down for 30, 45 minutes in the next week. In fact, I'm going to be in your area on Tuesday at 2:00. I can be there at 12 or 3 to meet you. Would any of those times work for you? See how he's talking about specifically some of their concerns and provided some specific evidence, some stuff that I've worked on, and as an opportunity to meet. So Brent, how did that feel when I asked that?
Yeah, it felt good. It felt like you're understanding and then you're providing a solution. which is at a meeting. Micro commitments. If they can't commit to meet with you in person, oh no, I'm too busy, I can't. They're never going to commit to listing the property exclusively with you.
Absolutely. And you can't blame them, right? Because they don't know, like, or trust you yet. I mean, they might know you a little bit from your cold calls and from your emails and so some of the deals, but until you get face to face with somebody or shoulder to shoulder walking through proposals, laying out options, and really understanding where they're coming from, not only as a real estate investor, but as a person, as a father, as a mother, as a, what their charitable giving is like, what their ambitions, what their desires are. And so now, Brent, fast forward, or Pierce, now we're in the meeting. We got the meeting. Like, great, let's meet. What is the purpose of the meeting, Pierce?
Purpose of the meeting is to see if a proposal is warranted.
And how do we determine along the way, or what are some ways to determine that, Pierce?
Well, I think that one of the big things, you have to see if there's a problem that you can solve. And if there's not, then you need to move on.
Yeah. If it's not significant pain or desire for change or an ambition to be somewhere, then you got to be willing to walk away and not try to beat a dead horse, right? Or at least walk away for a while. You put them in the nurture file, you put them in the follow-up, and you come back to them at a different date, right? But you're not going to try to squeeze a square, peg in a round hole just to get a sale or get a deal, get a commission, get a listing. So, Brent, what are some questions when you're in this meeting? First of all, back up even before that. You know what the outcome that you want it to be, but what are some things you're doing in that meeting to make sure that you're having a great meeting with somebody?
Well, labeling and mirroring, asking open-ended questions and then labeling and mirroring, so that not only do you understand them, but they know that you understand them.
Absolutely, right? Labeling, mirroring. So you might start with a good open-ended question. By the way, before you even do that, hopefully you built some rapport.
Yes, true.
Just be friendly and be open to what their world's about. That could be sports, that could be family, that could be faith, that could be politics, that could be anything at all that they're desiring to talk about. See if you can connect with something and connect on that level first, right? Something that's outside of the business. Build some rapport. And what's a good ratio, Brent, for as far as who should be talking what amount of the time?
They should be talking 80% of the time. You should be talking 20% of the time, mainly with mirroring, labeling, and open-ended questions.
Yep. Good. And so now you might transition into business. So before we met today on the phone, we talked about some ways to potentially, strategize your property as it pertains to interest rates increasing, adjustment rate mortgages, and rents going down. Before we get there though, I'm just curious, like what's the main thing you're trying to accomplish with your real estate portfolio, or that 30 unit apartment complex, or those 100 units? What got you started there, and what's the main thing that you're hoping to accomplish with that investment? Be quiet and let them tell their story of how they got there, and tell their story of what they're trying to accomplish. And during this time, you're taking good notes and you're looking for good mirrors and good labels. In other words, you're listening for emotions and you're listening for some key things that they're saying. And you might write down 2 or 3 good mirrors and 2 or 3 good labels. And as they're going, you're inviting them to share more through some good mirrors. I really want passive income to replace my W-2 job. Passive income, replace your W-2 job? Yeah, I was working as a doctor, 60 hours, 70 hours a week. I wasn't really seeing my family too often. And I just wanted to be able to get some investments for tax purposes and be able to, eventually not have to work as much. I might say, work as much? Yeah, I'd like to be retired 5 or 10 years earlier, and I'm pretty much on track now. I mean, this property is worth $5 or $10 million, and it can produce X amount of income. You might move into a label.
Label, yeah.
You might not want to do too many mirrors. Mix mirrors and labels. It sounds like, it feels like, it seems like you really got into this to be able to spend more time with your family, have some passive income, some tax incentives, build some wealth, and then just see what they say. Yeah. And they might even expand upon that a little bit more. And this, and that, and this. And then great. The more that you can help them explore what they're trying to do and where they're trying to go, now we're in the flow with them because we're understanding where they're at. Brent, want to add to that?
No, like we both play basketball. I think mirroring and labeling is like dribbling with your right hand and your left hand. You got to kind of know when to cross over. And the more you play basketball, the smoother you get with your moves. And that's exactly like this. Practice makes progress, basically.
Good. Okay, so that's the purpose. Now, at a certain point, we're going to transition, Pierce, to we've mirrored, we've labeled, we've uncovered some problems, some desires. We've uncovered where they're trying to go and where they're at. And now we're going to transition to a phrase or a way to transition to it, some commitment. Do you know what that phrase or that talk track is, if you will? I guess script you could call it.
Did you already do the proposal?
Oh, no. This is the first meeting, right? And that's one of the biggest mistakes too. Don't show up with the proposal, right? The worst thing you do is show up and say, I've got the solutions to all of your problems, but we've never met, talked, explored it, or understood that you understood. And I just had it all answered. And then they're like, this guy's just presuming that he already knows me, that I already know him, that I already like him, that I already trust him, right? That's the worst thing you can do. So you have not done the proposal. You are sitting down to transition the first meeting to potentially do a proposal. Do you know what the word or the phrase is, Pierce?
Yeah, assuming we can agree on price and terms, is there any why you wouldn't let me exclusively list your property?
Okay. Yes, that's the end of it. Brent, what's the first part of that, though, before you get to that exact part?
Assuming that we can agree on price and terms to your satisfaction, right? That's the beginning. Is there any reason why you wouldn't use me to exclusively list your properties? Or you could also say, if we're getting deep into it and getting smooth and getting, advanced with it, assuming I can show you how, I could avoid all the capital gains and get you out of toilets, tenants, and trash, and list your property for, the market price and agree on price and terms to your satisfaction, and any other thing that came up that they're concerned about, listing those concerns, and then saying, is there any reason if I could do all this, if I could do all this, then would you exclusively use me to list the property?
Yeah, that's all correct. And I guess what I was saying is even the pre-step before that, they've set up desires, these challenges, these things. And then you could say, look, based upon what you've told me, it sounds like, it seems like, it feels like you would really benefit from a detailed pricing and financial analysis to determine if it's wise to list the property and sell it now to solve these challenges. I do this complimentary for my clients or potential clients like yourself. Do you see how that might be helpful to you to really do a sales comp, rent comp, detailed analysis on your loan, everything that's going on? Basically, it's like an MRI or an X-ray of what's happening in the marketplace as it pertains to your specific property and for your planning purposes and for your clarity of what direction you could take, regardless if you list or not list right now. Would that be helpful for you, Mr. Seller? Now, they say that would be helpful. Now we transition into, great, I'm going to be spending a couple weeks on this. It's going to be a detailed analysis. I'm going to need your current rent roll, your income and expenses statements for the last 2 years, plus your copy of your current note. I'll send you a list of that. How quickly can you think you can get that to me? Now, what I'm doing is I'm gauging whether or not they're committed to this process. I already brought it. It's right here. I can have my assistant send it to you right now. Right? Their actions are going to speak louder than their words. I'm going to send it over to you. Great. As soon as I have that list of those items, I can put a detailed analysis together. So I'm going to spend a couple weeks on that. I'm going to review your numbers. I'm going to review bank loans. I'm going to review the sales comps, the rent comps. I'm going to walk your property. I like to tour your property discreetly, just to get a nice look and feel for it. What would be a good day in the next couple of days to be able to do that? In fact, can we go over there right now? Do you have time to drive over there right now? Right. You're going to sense what they think or feel, right, on that. And I'm just basically gauging whether or not there's even some kind of real commitment there. Then I'm going to transition to, excellent. Looks like a proposal is warranted, and it's going to really be helpful for you making any decisions. Assuming we can agree on price and terms, and to your satisfaction, the proposal shows how we're going to help you achieve what you want to achieve on X, Y, and Z with capital gains tax, with the 1031 exchange, with increased cash flow, with more time with your family, with all of these things. And it's all to your satisfaction. This proposal shows this. Is there any reason that you could think of at this point why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list your property with you when I come back with that proposal? And be quiet. And they're going to start potentially bringing up objections and challenges. I mean, expect that every single time. And then what's that going to move back into, Brent?
I don't know.
Mirroring
And labeling.
Right? So now we're actually getting somewhere. Now they're seeing that you're about to put in a lot of time and energy. They made some commitments to send you some information, commitments to see their property. We're moving from the friend zone to the professional zone. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. And we're moving into commitment zone, right? Which is not friends, but potentially be able to serve them as your client. Move to the more marriage zone, if you will, right? And by the way, they're testing you too as a professional to see where you're at, right? If it's so easy for them just to get information and proposals out of you, they probably don't want you selling their $5 or $10 million property or asset. You have to understand that. They're constantly either subconsciously or actively testing to see if you are the person to be in the dogfight with, right? To be negotiating on their behalf, looking out for their best interest. Having creative options, right? People show up with lack of clarity, lack of confidence, and lack of creativity. So our role is to bring clarity, confidence, and creative ways to solve their challenges, right? That's what we get paid to do. Okay, so then they say, no, I have that. I'm willing to commit to that. Assuming we can agree on price and terms, is there any other reason? No. I mean, they might say, I'm talking with such and such broker. My so-and-so nephew is a broker. What are your fees? What's the price going to be? And, hey, assuming we can agree on price and terms and the fees are to your satisfaction, we can show you how. And by the way, I would say the fees, like, yeah, what are your fees? And you say, the fees? You mirror that. And they say, yeah, the commissions to sell. And you say, my commissions to sell? Yeah, your commissions to sell. Buy side and list side? Yeah, buy side and list side. So make sure you're also narrowing down, because sometimes they might think, oh, this was this, or this was full fee or half fee. But you're not here to negotiate. You're here to understand where they're coming from, right? And you label that, and you might say, it sounds like you want to make sure you're getting paid, we're getting paid for the value we're bringing, or whatever that concern is, right? You might say my fee is 6%, and that covers both buy side and sell side, typically 50-50, based upon who we're working with and the marketing plan that we choose. Be quiet for a second. See if there's any objection or any concern there. If there is concern or objection, you might say, seems like that might be of concern to you. And let them say that it is. No concern. I was just more curious. Excellent. Assuming we can agree on price and terms, and you can understand the value that you pay for in our commission, and to your satisfaction, I bring back the proposal to you to help you solve A, B, and C, which we talked about, and alleviate, D, E, and F. Is there any other reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property with you? No, there's no other reason. Hopefully they bring up 2 or 3. You actually want them to bring up those objections, right? So you can mirror and you can label, you can mirror, you can label, and then you can say, I'll come back in my proposal and I will address that. And assuming we agree on price and terms and I address that to your satisfaction, is there any other reason? Is there any other reason? Is there any other reason? Now you go back and you do the proposal, Brent, and guess what you do? You have a page for that exact thing ready to go. But do you show up and just all of a sudden just present it right away? No, not necessarily. You have the proposal ready to go. You've done your homework. You are the expert. You're the Navy SEAL. You've done the rent comps, the sales comps, the underwriting. You talk to the lender. You've viewed the property. You've viewed the comps. You've done everything you can to provide solutions and opportunities. And when I go to present my proposal, I am speaking with them from a spot of authority, because you do, because now you should know more about their property and more about the market than they do, because you've been studying for the last 2 weeks, and hopefully you've been in the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. You've talked to all the sellers. They don't have the time and energy to do that. You talked to all the sellers, the lenders, all the brokers who've done all the deals, and you are coming with an expertise for evaluation of their property. And you're showing up and you're saying, hey, based upon the comps, based upon all my research, based upon all the conversations I've had, I think your property will sell for $5 million. And you be quiet. And they're going to say, show me. Great. Let's look at the comps. Look at your underwriting. Let's look at where these things are at. Now let's dive into your specific situation. I think based upon everything you've told me, what you're trying to achieve with your family, with your passive income, with your tax planning goals, with your adjustable rate mortgage, which is set to adjust in 2 years, and it's here now, this is the time to sell and list right now, because we want a buyer to be able to have that fixed rate before it adjusts. Now is the time. So you're specifically, I'm advising for you, based on what you've told me, to sell right now. Now, that's nothing if you have to pay all this tax. So here are the options for the tax deferral. A, 1031 exchange, you know it. We're going to look right now. Here's our plan to try to find properties off market, on market. B, the deferred sales trust. It might even be your first plan if you don't even want to buy any more properties. C, it could be a Delaware statutory trust, or we do a mixture of all three. My team and my business partners are experts in all of these things, and that's the team approach. This is how we're going to help you solve that challenge, right? So first you're starting macro with the property, then you're diving in specific with what their needs and goals and desires are, right? And then you're talking direct solutions for where we're going. So basically it's like static, where we're at today, where we could sell it for. Static, where you're at today, where you're going. C, our solutions for the future and what it's going to look like after close. Does that make sense? Now your proposal is there as a what's the word? The evidence and the aid to help you with that. You might say we just did a $17 million deal in Sacramento for a billboard company sale. And the seller had millions and millions of tax, and he used the deferred sales trust after his CPA was very cautious and concerned. We did another one in Sacramento for $1.8 million, right? And this seller, it was a partnership and they wanted to go their separate ways. And in fact, their 1031 was failing, and we saved a failed 1031 exchange, right? And you might have some of those deal stories of how you marketed the property, how you got more offers, how you did whatever you did to help them overcome their concern with fees, with 1031 exchanges, whatever it is. It's just an aid, but you are the presentation. The worst thing you can do is just hand it over to them and just have them start flipping through and asking random questions. You just transferred all of your time and energy away from you, who is the expert, to the proposal. Now, of course, you can leave it with them afterwards, but that is sitting there next to you and you're engaging in the conversation. Is that making sense here?
Yes.
Questions, Pierce or Manuel? Hello, welcome. Well, feel free to unmute yourself. Do you have at this point?
The only question that I have was, can you go over the transition to the close, the micro commitment for the proposal again?
So back to we're in meeting number 1. So we've had our cold call, we've had our meeting, and the question is a proposal warranted? Kind of the micro close there?
Yeah. When my wife pulled up, she Bluetooth and I missed it.
Okay. So it was prior to the conditional close. Brent, you want to give that a shot? Go.
Prior to the conditional close. Okay, so reiterating their concerns and their goals. So assuming I can show you how to sell this property, avoid the capital gains, get you increased cash flow, whatever those items are, and assuming we could agree on price and terms, is there any reason why you wouldn't use me to exclusively list your property?
So that's the conditional close. I think Pierce is asking prior to that, right?
Prior.
Yeah. So even prior to that, Brent. So
okay.
Talk about their desires, because guess what? You showing up, if you just talk about their desires and their challenges, how is that connecting to them selling? You got to transition to the micro close, right? So you could say something along the lines of, it sounds like, it seems like, it feels like a proposal would be warranted to really do a deep dive X-ray of your property and your financial situation with your debt. That might lead to potentially wanting to sell right now. Okay? I'm not sure until I do the analysis and we look at this, but based upon what you're telling me now, it feels like a proposal would be warranted to give you some clarity on even if you don't sell today, you might sell in 6 months. Things could change, right? But based upon what you've told me, you might even say, hey, given your interest rate, I mean, this is a no-brainer to at least look at. It's a complementary analysis on your property as it pertains to your loan, sales comps, rent comps, everything that's going on. You see how that could be of value to you? Yes. You want him to say, yes, I could see that, right? Or does it sound unreasonable to want to get that, look at that, right? No, it doesn't sound unreasonable. Great. Now, assuming we can agree on price and terms to your satisfaction, and the proposal shows why it's warrants for you to sell, is there any other reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property? That makes sense? So, and by the way, you got to basically convert the conditional close from the meeting itself, and that middle part is that proposal as it pertains to actually selling the property. Now, you might come back and say, look, don't sell the property. Hold on to it. Refinance. Increase your cash flow. Renovate some of those units. Clean up some of those expenses. Like, I'm going to let you know this proposal is going to give you from all angles. Sell. Don't sell. Hold. Refinance, right? It's kind of an x-ray of what's happening. But this proposal will help you get clarity on your options. Do you see, does that seem unreasonable to have that as an update? No, it doesn't seem unreasonable. It sounds great. Great. Now, assuming we agree on price and terms and you actually do decide to sell and you show how the proposal shows how it's going to solve your challenges, and that seems to be the best thing for you to do, is there any reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property and sell it for you? So this is an art and a science, right? Some people might come out right away and just say they're ready to, yeah, I actually do want to sell. I'm interviewing agents. And then you're going to go straight into that. But you got to figure out a way to transition that. Does that make sense, Pierce? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, that was much more helpful. So, and then the other question is, I mean, sounds like a pretty targeted list of like specific prospects that you're going after. Is there like a particular prospect like criteria that you use? I know this is applicable to, a bunch of different people, but you can speak differently, it sounds like, to someone who's got, in Chico and the rents may be falling because student housing is different. Am I off here?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's got to be specific to your marketplace, to your product type, and to the owners that you're targeting, and you're to be you're basically your ideal client. So for me, as a broker, it's multifamily, it's Sacramento, and then now St. Augustine as well, right? And then it's also Northern California multifamily, because we have some of the best, like Brent in the area, who's from Aptos and lives in Chico, and all of these things are connected, Pierce, to really serve the client at the high level, whether it be yourself or bringing an eXp Mastery team member, right, to serve that client at a high level. So that would be the first thing. But yeah, I think you should always choose a geographical location and a specific product type, and you focus like a laser until you've really mastered that. Then you can also bring in others to help you, right? Or to focus on industrial or office and retail, or so that is something that I found that specialization is going to help you to serve the client at a high level, and also help you to actually win business. Because if you're just a generalist, it's going to be very difficult to compete with specialists, right? And it's kind of like going to a general practitioner and being like, hey, I need ACL surgery, or I need a tumor removed from my brain. It's not going to be the same guy. It's going to be a different knee surgeon and a different brain surgeon for each thing. So we're going to be Navy SEALs, not baby SEALs. We're going to be professionals and not amateurs, right? So that's what takes the discipline and the focus. Doesn't mean you can't bring in someone who is that specialist and then do it together, right? Split the commission, work together, serve the client at a high level. Does that answer the question, Pierce?
Yeah.
And let me just say too, Pierce, if you're like going for intergeneration, say you're luxury housing in Southern California, it's like, what are the things that are affecting it? How have interest rates, migration patterns, looking at the causes of, reasons to sell or not sell. I've just come up with a little slide deck about things that are the root causes of market forces that are important for a buyer or seller to understand.
Good job, Brent. Good, man. Well, you have any questions before we wrap this up? Nope. Okay. Oh, good. Thanks for attending. Good to have you here. All right, Mr. Brent Silverbauer, people want to get in touch with you. What's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, BrentSalesChico.com, probably the best.
Excellent. Mr. Pierce York, people want to find you. Where can they find you?
They can find me at my website, kingdomluxuryrealty.com, and Capital Gains Tax Solutions Podcast.
Excellent. Yeah, people want to get in touch with me. You can go to expmastery.com. You can also go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We've got the podcast, got the YouTube channel. We've got the new book coming out with Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, by the way, building a capital gains tax deferral exit plan. And it's about 21 days out. Cool thing about that too is the Deferred Sales Trust, which you'll learn about inside the book, works for luxury primary homes, works for commercial real estate, can save a failing 1031 exchange, crypto, business sales, anything that has high appreciation. So as an agent, as a real estate agent, or as a commercial broker, you're going to want to know about it because it's going to unlock some of the challenges for people from listing, such as I don't have my 1031 lined up, or I don't want my 1031 to fail. I need a backup plan, or I have huge tax and I don't even want a 1031. I want to be more passive. And so look for that coming out soon, and check that out on Amazon. Other than that, if you ever want to join us, let us know. Connect with us. Go to expmastery.com if you're interested in leveling up and joining a team across the country with luxury real estate or commercial brokerage. We would love the opportunity to see if you can be a good fit for eXp Mastery. Go to expmastery.com. Thanks, everybody. We will talk